Copenhagen, what a flavor. Copenhagen, you can see it in my smile. Copenhagen, do yourself a favor, chew. Copenhagen, drive them pretty girls wild.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Backwoods Wrestling Podcast. Today is Wednesday, and we always are uploading on Wednesdays. Most of the time, I will bring this up because we almost had an accident today. So, if there's ever a time where we can't record on Wednesday and we can't upload on Wednesday, we will update you all on Instagram at Backwoods Wrestling Podcast. And I know I said this last week, but we are currently in the process of making a Facebook page for it.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, for you first-time listeners, my name is Caleb.
My name is Dylan.
This is the Backwoods Wrestling Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Raw and SmackDown, which was weekly wrestling. And then the main topic of this podcast is, of course, WWE's Stomping Grounds.
Yes.
So, after we get done with that, we'll do a top 5 again. And, send us your suggestions. We'd love to hear from y'all. Send us an email at backwoodswrestlingpodcast@protonmail.com or send us a message on Instagram at backwoodswrestlingpodcast. Or leave comments on this video, on this podcast.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell.
That's right. So, we'll start off with the Raw and SmackDown since the pay-per-view was the big thing.
Yeah.
So, on Raw, what did you think about it?
Well, my big problem with Raw, and it's a little bit of SmackDown both, is that they're blending the two.
Yeah.
Which, I like they have so much talent, so many wrestlers and stuff that
right.
I'd like to see more of ones. But, all in all, it wasn't bad.
Right.
It was just... It was just all right. It's another one of them.
Right. Just one of those mediocre shows.
Yeah.
The Undertaker showing up was a big surprise.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
That was
but
he's showing up a teaming with Roman. That's that second pay per view he was supposed to done.
Yeah.
I guess Goldberg is really retired at this point.
Yeah, I was surprised Vince McMahon didn't come back so soon. But then again, like Undertaker and him have always been close, obviously.
Right.
But I'm glad to see that the Undertaker though is because obviously the Goldberg thing was awful and it was trash. So I guess the Undertaker wants to redeem himself a little bit.
Right.
And I'm glad he's doing it sooner than later as well.
And the whole thing with Roman Reigns, some people hate him, some people love him. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle for Roman Reigns. I don't hate him, but I don't love him as much as I do other wrestlers. Yeah. But I think Roman's a good pairing. Yeah. The only thing I'm tired of is, of course, Shane McMahon's going to be on the pay-per-view. Yeah. And more than likely, if I know WWE the way I know WWE at the pay-per-view, they'll probably somehow manage to let Shane win.
Yeah, which is beyond me. Like I said, Shane McMahon has had the biggest, most powerful win over Roman Reigns. And
right.
Wins and losses, they do matter.
Right.
WWE don't think they do, but they do.
But I will say this much about Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Off the topic of Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
The main event was actually main event caliber match.
Yeah.
I liked the Ricochet and AJ Styles match.
Yeah. I was surprised a little bit. This is something they did on both Raw and SmackDown, which we'll get to some of that on SmackDown here in a minute. But the person who is the champion loses.
Right.
Which I was shocked. And like I said, obviously AJ Styles has been there longer. He's perceived to be higher caliber than Ricochet. He's the new golden boy. But at the same point, though, I hate false finishes, but two faces and then one of them walks away clean. Right. I'm sure they're going to do a series, though, of this. Obviously, this here's the first of probably a dozen of their matches we'll have to see in one way, shape, or form.
And I believe, which I was reading something a long time ago, whenever AJ dropped the belt, everyone was like, oh my God, why drop it just on a show, not on an actual pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Why have him drop it there? Well, people don't realize AJ's, 40-something-year-old.
Yeah.
He's done a lot. He's wrestled a lot in his time, in his career. I don't think he's had that many injuries to have to recover from.
Yeah, and he's had one of the greatest WWE Championship runs in recent years, and
Right.
You know,
And
I
I
love
mean, it
AJ.
fit. You know,
Yeah.
that was the thing I liked about it was it fit. It made sense.
It's kind of his time to start putting some other guys over,
Right.
you know?
And I think that's what the whole thing will be with Ricochet
Yeah.
and AJ Styles. Because, like you said, I think it'll turn into a series of matches,
Absolutely.
which I'm perfectly okay with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm glad the NXT guy's going to get some time.
Yeah, I'm
on the show.
surprised that of all the people they're pushing, it seems to be Ricochet. I
Right.
mean, you know.
You know, and another one, as far as, you know, people getting pushed and people that ain't getting pushed, that surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
That Mustafa Ali or Ali, whatever they call him,
Yeah.
he had such a huge push in that. Like, where is he? He did a commercial.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the commercial on the pay-per-view?
Yeah, it was.
And they had it on SmackDown, I believe, too.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I almost like fast forwarded because I had it recorded on the DVR.
Right.
Like, but then I was like, wait a second, you know. But it was.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get his thing is the light thing, but
Yeah.
it didn't make sense to me. Like, what? Like, are they about to give him a big push? Like, is Kofi about to drop the belt to Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
Because if you sit there and think, Samoa Joe got eliminated by Ricochet and Mustafa Ali at Super Showdown.
Yeah.
So, like, are they, like, giving Ricochet the push, and now all of a sudden they're going to give Ali the push for the championship?
I don't know.
Which, as weird as it sounds, I never thought I'd say this, but, like, I kind of hope they do give Ali a push.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, I think it'd be good for business as far as that goes.
Yeah, and one thing too, kind of on the note of Raw, not to jump subjects too quickly,
Right.
but 24/7 championship. The idea and the gimmick behind it is dumb, but I can't help but laugh. I mean, it's fun. It's
Right.
fun. It's not like stupid, like
Right.
the guys out there dancing in the middle of a match and stuff, stuff
Right.
like that. But just the running around and the hiding, it's like old cartoons, Tom and Jerry, the Coyote, whatever,
Right.
So that was cool. My favorite, EC3, he was champion
Right.
for like 30 seconds.
I was
or
about to
something
bring
like
that up.
Yeah.
Was for it to be 24/7 championship, I never heard as big of a pop as what it was whenever EC3 hit the
the
one
crowd.
percenter and won the belt.
Yeah.
Like WWE should see that, like, he's getting a pop.
Yeah, I mean, EC3 could definitely be one of the top guys in
Right.
the company. He, like I said, he's big, he looks good, and he's got hellacious mic skills.
Right.
And
And the thing I don't get is, like, like, if he obviously is getting cheers from the fans, he's obviously making merch sales, if he has any.
yeah,
I mean, he's selling himself the whole time.
yeah. Everybody knew that he was like the one great thing from TNA,
Right.
TNA's worst time,
Right. And I was hoping that they let him keep it and run with it.
Yeah,
Nothing against R-Truth. I mean, he's earned his due.
yeah.
But I don't see why they're just...
I guess just because he's like funny, and I think that's why they're letting Drake Maverick out of all people ever run with the two. Because I mean, even watching him in TNA's Rockstar Spud, he's funny on the mic.
The last actual match I ever seen of Drake Maverick Rockstar Spud was him versus Crazy Steve.
Oh yeah,
That was the last match I ever watched of him on TNA.
yeah. He did that thing with Hornswoggle right before he left.
Oh, yeah?
But I think that was just Hornswoggle, like, hit him in the nuts with the ring bell or something like that. And he was laid out in the hospital, and then they did these sad promos or whatever.
Right.
TNA, or I mean WWE, sometimes they snatch up to bring in the NXT some of the oddest people you would never think that they would.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's cool, though. Like,
Speaking of TNA people coming to WWE, in an NXT Best of the Best tournament that they're having,
yeah.
they have Trevor Lee. Do you remember him in TNA?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was awesome.
He's going against that Shane Strickland guy.
Oh, wow, that's pretty
That's
cool.
been involved. And like I said, man, I gained a lot of respect for Shane Strickland whenever he was in the Cage of Death match in CCW. Because, I mean, anybody who watches him knows, like, that ain't his style of wrestling. But, I mean, like, he went into it, he put on a good show, and it was still fun to watch. So, like, I'm excited for this Best of the Best.
Yeah.
Which I'm an NXT guy anyway.
Yeah.
I know we don't really talk about it, but, it's because, we record this on Wednesday and all that, and Wednesday's just the easiest time for all of us.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this Best of the Best tournament.
Yeah, Trevor Lee, him and Caleb Conley in TNA was awesome.
Right.
they was
Wasn't
funny.
they teamed up with Gregory Helms or something like that?
Yeah, they was there for a little while. Then he left.
Yeah.
Then it was them. I actually watched on Twitch TV some of like the backstage whatever crap that they would do for TNA, and Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley was doing great promo, especially when they was feuding with LAX. I mean, it was
really.
Yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't funny in the way that it makes wrestling look bad.
All right, I'll see if I can find this best of the best thing, but back to the thing of Raw. The thing that I don't get, and we talked about this the other day, was I don't get how Samoa Joe's all of a sudden a number one contender for the WWE Championship after he just dropped the United States Championship.
Yeah, you'd think that he'd want to like do his rematch, right? Like it's.
So.
I guess they're just doing it to put, Kofi over some.
And then the thing that killed me, not to jump to SmackDown real quick, but I'll bring this point up, is the thing that killed me was they had that Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi 2 out of 3 falls main event match to see if Dolph can be in it. Like, what is the point of like giving Dolph that little push just to take it away?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, okay, something that was so weird was that was a 2 out of 3 falls. And then there was the 2 out of 3 falls between Miz and Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And then, or no, not Drew McIntyre, but Elias. And then there was the 2 out of 3 falls last week. Like, I love 2 out of 3 falls matches, but this here...
They're killing it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it every week. Like, whenever you got, like, back in the day, a cage match on Raw or something, it's like a big deal, you know what I'm saying?
I have this NXT Best of the Best. It's actually called Breakout Tournament.
Okay.
Which, whatever makes sense. In the round 1, it's Dexter Loomis, which is a guy that, like, walked around with, like, the Butcher apron on there, versus Bronson Reed. I have no clue who that guy is. He's some indie guy. I think he was in Evolve. I think I've seen him in Evolve.
Yeah, I know NXT and Evolve, like they're farming them out of there. So.
And then they have Isaiah Swerve Scott, which is Shane Strickland, versus Cameron Grimes, which is Trevor Lee. So that'll be a good match to watch.
Yeah.
They got that Angel Garza versus Joaquin Wilde. Do you know who Joaquin Wilde is?
No.
DJZ.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And who'd you say he was going against?
Angel Garza.
Is that that one Garza guy that was in TNA there?
I believe so.
You got the picture there? Yeah, that's him.
And then Jordan Miles versus Boa.
Okay.
Which I think he was in New Japan, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But that's round 1, and the thing that I'm liking about NXT is they're taking these indie guys, and they're really giving them a spotlight, right off to showcase what they got.
Oh, absolutely.
So like I love the idea of the breakout tournament. Mm-hmm. And another thing, just since we're talking about NXT, they're pushing the Undisputed Era, of course. Adam Cole's NXT champion. They asked this question: does Roderick Strong deserve an NXT North American title opportunity? All of 1,960 comments is saying yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So like that surprised me.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. Roderick Strong, the Messiah of the backbreaker, whatever they're saying. I love watching him wrestle.
Yeah. But
back to the weekly show. There wasn't really nothing else to talk about on Raw besides the 8-man tag match, New Day and Usos versus Revival and Daniel Bryan and Rowan.
Yeah.
And I thought that was all right. Of course, the Usos got a push.
Yeah.
Of course. But that's about all I could say about Raw.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was average.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
Any comments you have left for Raw?
Not right now. Once we go over Stomping Ground, I'll probably say a thing or two about like the whole Baron Corbin stuff. But aside from that,
Speaking of that, we all knew what was happening in mixed match tag match at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
But
even though they're calling it Extreme Rules, are any of these matches, quote unquote, Extreme Rules matches?
Not that I know of.
So, I mean, it's weird. I mean, I don't care if they are or not, but it's just odd for that pay-per-view. Because usually they just have gimmicked up matches.
Yeah,
like
right.
the all-chairs match at one time. Like what?
I remember watching Extreme Rules before it was Extreme Rules, and it was, I think the match I can remember the most is Jeff Hardy versus Umaga.
Oh, yeah.
Falls Count Anywhere match where he done the swan ton off this semi-trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sure they'll add stipulations closer.
Yeah.
But, Extreme Rules, it can't be extreme with it being the PG era now.
Yeah.
So, on to SmackDown. I'll let you go with your comments first.
Okay, on SmackDown, loved the heavy machinery stuff, obviously. That was one of my favorite things about watching SmackDown. I've got more to say about heavy machinery whenever we get around the stomping ground.
Right.
But that match was cool. Like I said, I hate whenever they do like these huge tag matches a lot of times just to kind of get people on the card. Like, I felt like it was a little unnecessary. But, still yet though, it's always great to see the Caterpillar. But,
right. And WWE finally did something right on Stomping Grounds as far as that. I mean, we'll get to it later, but they finally did something right with Stomping Grounds as far as that match went.
Oh, absolutely.
So the matches I remember most from SmackDown was, of course,
well, Nikki Cross versus Bayley. I could not believe Nikki Cross went over on her with playing nothing dirty. I mean, I get it because they're leading up for the championship thing, but like, has Nikki Cross ever done a one-on-one singles since being brought up to the main roster?
I can't remember.
It's been nothing of any importance and for her to go over on Bayley, especially on a botched pin.
Yeah,
whatever.
But I remember that match. I remember New Day versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be honest with you. I only remember the match. I don't even remember who won. Like, it just ended so bad, I thought.
Yeah. And then it was weird. I mean, but obviously the main event. I know you got some comments about that.
Right. But the main event was the main thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
For SmackDown. If you're going to give Dolph a push, give him a push.
Yeah.
Don't keep on putting him in main event caliber matches
mm-hmm.
and not giving him the main event.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great match, but for him just to blow out.
It just had a stale end.
Yeah. Like they need to let somebody else or let Dolph Ziggler be viable at it.
Right. And it eats me up, which I'm a Dolph Ziggler guy anyway. Yeah. It eats me up.
Yeah.
That, they just keep on giving him this push, title opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Either let him go over or quit doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't know if, Dolph Ziggler's stuck in this realm of, oh, well, he's main event caliber, but we don't know if he's ready. Like, I'm sure Vince McMahon's in his office, who's in the Spirit Squad? This ain't gonna make no sense. Like, it makes perfect sense. Dolph Ziggler's way past the Spirit Squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years almost that they've been pushing him all the way to the top and then just sinking him back down. Then he'll come back, sinking him back down. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, he's had the world heavyweight title, but back then it didn't really mean too much per se.
And then Aleister Black's promo.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Like he kind of he had to put in the plugs of WWE being the best. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's kind of that's a little cringy, but whatever.
Like, you can tell which ones just wrote out and which ones actually get free will on.
Yeah. Because obviously he's not going to say he's not going to put the plug in for WWE being the best. That's just a little weird, but
right. But I got excited whenever they like blacked out the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure Bray Wyatt was going to pop up behind him.
Oh, yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to pop up behind him.
That's the most logical thing is him and Bray Wyatt's going to have it out.
If WWE's smart, that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
That'll make the most sense.
Yeah, and what I wish would happen was they'd give him some kind of title regardless of
Right.
what it is to feud over. That way it makes sense. Because here's the thing. If you're in WWE, unless you're fighting with the boss,
Right.
the whole... that thing, then what's the reason? You join the company to be a champion, right? That's
Right.
the thing, because we're perceived to say, hey, this here's where the money's at, this here's all eyes on me, it's the big prize. But if you're feuding without something like that, it diminishes a lot. It could be even, like I said, United States or Intercontinental or something.
Right.
But
Here's what I'm thinking as far as long term goes.
mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to give Dolph another Intercontinental push, which I'll be
Probably.
fine with. Dolph versus Finn Balor. I'll be
Yeah.
totally fine with it. Then I'd like to see Dolph drop it to Aleister Black. That way Aleister Black gets put over. I mean, he's already over, but more than what he is. But one person I will bring up
Mm-hmm.
that I think needs to get the main title push is Bray Wyatt. Whenever he won the WWE Championship, that was the biggest pop ever.
Yeah.
The only thing was Bray Wyatt wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
He couldn't really have nothing to build off of.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it brings in that case of, he wasn't ready. He's getting this push. He's getting this pop. He's getting over.
Yeah.
I think he's ready. And I would be totally down with seeing a Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins match.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd be totally down with seeing Bray Wyatt versus Kofi match.
Absolutely.
Or even a Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe match. If they're going to give Samoa Joe the belt.
Yeah.
Samoa
Joe is one of these guys I want to talk about a little bit. I've always loved his work.
Right.
Ring of Honor, even this little stuff he did in CZW TNA and stuff. And even some of his stuff in NXT was pretty good. But since he's kind of got that case of since been brought up to the main roster, it's not been his best work, I feel. And I'd say a lot of that's Creative's problem because we know he can go. I'm sure he's a little older, but it's not nothing he can't do.
Right.
He can't hardly be Samoa Joe because they never give him anything important per se to work with.
Right. I mean, at least he has NXT infamy.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Most of the guys' best stuff is in NXT.
Right.
I mean, which is sad.
Shinsuke made an appearance on Tuesday. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that.
Against Finn Balor.
Yeah, so I guess that's going to be.
That's going to be the match. I'll be all right with that one. I don't care.
Oh yeah. By the way, Samoa Joe. Something it was hard to see. He was only there for a second, but after he choked out Kofi Kingston. And then he was getting up. He punched him in the spine for some reason. I don't know if you caught that. But
I did not.
I had to replay it a couple times. I don't know if he punched him help use leverage to get up, but he just socked him right in the spine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you have any last comments about SmackDown Live? SmackDown just was hard to watch this week.
Yeah. I love the DVR. It's so great.
Right.
That's my last comment on SmackDown.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about something we kind of dove into last week.
Yeah.
Little known tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We was talking about AJ Styles, right?
Yes.
And of course, you love games.
Mm-hmm.
I like games too.
Yeah.
Did you know that AJ Styles has his whole basement dedicated to retro games?
Wow.
Retro consoles, arcade machines, and everything.
That's really awesome.
Up, down, the YouTube thing for WWE. No, that ain't a plug.
Yeah.
But did a thing where they walked through and looked at it.
Oh wow.
And it was pretty freaking cool. I think he has the first Street Fighter arcade game. Not of course the first one or whatever it was. It's like Street Fighter, that vibe.
Oh, right.
I can't.
It's probably Street Fighter 2 because that's the infamous one. That
Yeah,
everybody knows.
but He had that one, and then he had like an original Sega or
Master
whatever
System,
it is.
yeah.
Yep, he had that Nintendo 64 and all that. And then he's like, and this side is my son's side, and it had like Xbox One, PS4, and all that.
Yeah, obviously.
But like, I just thought it was cool that he has that. And then there's like a little closet that would be like a walk-in closet to us.
Yeah.
And like that whole walk-in closet is nothing but 64 games and old games. He even has a GameCube section that he has, which I like that. The GameCube has a soft spot in my heart.
Same here. I mean, I love retro games, and that's really cool. I'm definitely going to have to check out that video and see it.
I mean, it was cool to watch.
Oh, absolutely. And I bet where he spent time over there in Japan, he's probably got some Famicom, Super Famicom and stuff.
He does. He has a bunch of stuff. He said he bought a game from a store, and it was like the first ever game or something, and it was some retro game. And he said the guy gave it to me.
Wow.
And he said he looked up the value of it, and he said like the value of it was like $800 or something like that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which I mean, like someone like him, that's pocket change.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like it's just cool because you know, like you see these wrestlers, and like you never think that they'll like be obsessed with anything else besides wrestling, and it was cool.
Yeah.
You know,
It's cool for AJ Styles being a Southern boy as well.
right.
But if I was AJ Styles, and I'd say he probably did because he seems like a gentleman, he's probably sent that guy some free crap, some autograph or something.
Right.
Like
I think he said he sent him some gear or something.
Yeah, yeah. So.
But you know, on the subject of games, did you know? I can't remember if it was last year or the year before last. New Day versus the Elite at a gaming conference in Street Fighter.
Oh, I heard about that. I didn't see it though, but
yeah, I just think that was cool.
Yeah,
you know, and of course Kenny Omega, he's a big Street Fighter guy.
Yeah, yeah,
and a big gaming guy.
Yeah, he came out wearing a Sword Art Online robe at Double or Nothing, so he's in the anime and all that crap too, so which is cool.
So that's amazing. Like I said, like it's nice being able to see wrestlers, be interested in other stuff.
Yeah, obviously.
And like that's cool. And did you know Samoa Joe was a real estate agent?
Really?
Before he was a wrestler?
Wow.
He said, I hated being a real estate agent, so I got into wrestling.
Wow.
He said, I'd already made my millions from being a real estate agent, which he lived in California, and he was a real estate agent out there, so I guess it makes sense to make millions.
Yeah.
And he's like, he said, I hated it. He's like, so I'll probably just keep on wrestling until I can't no more, and then
go back to real estate.
Go back to real estate.
Yeah.
Which is, cool.
It'd been cool if he could set up his own firm and then just have people run it for him.
You want to hear a crazy story, though, that I heard?
Yo.
Ted DiBiase invested in Bitcoin a long time ago.
Like old Ted DiBiase?
No, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase is a bastard and all that.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Nothing wrong with that, but, like that ain't what I was talking about. But, Ted DiBiase Jr. invested in Bitcoin forever ago.
Wow.
And whenever it boomed, he did his buyout. He made $25 million.
Wow.
From his investment.
That's crazy. I mean, that's amazing. Because, back then, that'd probably just been like 20. I mean, well, it'd been more than that, but it'd probably just been a few $100, and then it's like...
I think he said that someone said that it started out as a $20 investment in Bitcoin.
Wow.
And then he added more throughout WWE, and then he did his buyout. And now he's like in the stock market and all that, buying and selling bonds.
Well, I guess he lived up to his father's gimmick for sure then.
Right.
A $25 million man here, but... That's smart. I love seeing wrestlers who are successful at other things. Like
right.
Jimmy Buffett had his one real big hit song, Margaritaville, but he's made millions and millions off of one song just by merchandising it and having all these bars and restaurants and stuff like that.
Right. Well, there's a place in Gatlinburg dedicated to the song.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's I like seeing wrestlers who do other avenues. Like,
right.
I'm glad that DDP's got his yoga.
Did you know that Wade Barrett is in Lucha Underground right now?
I heard about that. Yeah.
They're saying that he's in talks with AEW.
Oh, wow.
Did you know Ricochet was in Lucha Underground?
No, I did not. Was he wearing a hood or?
He's wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah.
He's like that Prince Puma or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know. Yeah, his tattoos.
Like, it makes sense, with the tattoos.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing that's interesting to me about wrestling is like you know, there's these great performers, these great athletes, but like, you know, these guys have other lives outside of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, on to the pay-per-view. I wrote down all the matches.
Yeah.
I got one comment about a couple of them, and then there's some of them I can really talk about.
Okay.
Becky versus Lacey made sense. Becky wins. You know, Lacey ain't done nothing to, you know, really have the push to be champion.
It's set up for what was to come later.
Right.
So.
You know, what'd you think about it? Same.
I mean, there's nothing really to add to it. You knew what was going to happen.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus New Day. I actually thought this was match of the night.
Oh, yeah.
I liked how it went. I liked the flow of it.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the ending. Like, it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I felt watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and then Ricochet versus Samoa Joe. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the idea.
Yeah.
Ricochet went over. I was so happy to see Ricochet win it. I was watching it with my dad, and he's like, they ain't going to let him go over. I'm like, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And he sit there, he hit that 630 splash, and I was like, ah! And I was like, boom, baby, I told you. And, like, I don't know if I was happy to see Ricochet win it or if I was happy to see an NXT guy get a push.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, even though, like, a lot of these guys that came through NXT, they're not fresh from NXT. Right. They've kind of gotten in that WWE mold.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, it made sense, and now Ricochet's put over and stuff. I just hope they continue to do something with him. Like I said, losing AJ Styles once, it ain't the end of the world, but if this is something that continues, you know, like I said, it'd be good if Ricochet wins the next one, then they just kind of go back.
Right. And then Heavy Machinery versus the Planet's Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
That was the one thing WWE did right.
Yeah.
Letting the hometown guy win it. Even though he was a heel, he still got cheered.
Exactly.
It made sense.
And what made me mad about Daniel Bryan and Rowan was they would do the come on thing to get the crowd to cheer. I don't know if it was an accident or what the deal is, but heels should not do that. However, though, Heavy Machinery is supposed to be the good guys. They'll get cheered anywhere else. But right there, it was good that they didn't win the tag team belts because then the crowd would have ate them alive.
Right.
And then
it wouldn't have went off better as what it would have anywhere else.
Yeah. Heavy Machinery is definitely going to win the title at some point.
Right.
But here wasn't the time. And also, Rowan's T-shirts ain't been as cool here lately. He needs to start putting on some more cool band ones.
Yeah.
Like the Soundgarden one. Heck, that sucks. But nevertheless.
What'd you think about whenever Ricochet went to the Backwoods United States Championship?
I love you, Ricky.
I love you, Ricky.
Yeah, that was great.
I lost.
Heavy Machinery is my favorite thing on the WWE.
Really?
Right now. I'm not going to lie.
So, Bliss versus Bayley.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say about it, really. It was just kind of another one of them. Of course, like I said, we hypothesized last week about it, and I thought that there was going to be more Nikki Cross intervention here, but there really wasn't. So it was just...
That surprised me.
Yeah. Stayed the same, still same champion.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad I did because Bayley ain't had a chance to do anything else.
Yeah.
Roman versus Drew. We could all call Shane McMahon was going to get in there.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised they didn't let Drew win it. That surprised me. I was thinking that they was going to.
Yeah.
It's another one of those things of don't give them the push if you ain't going to put them over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was I don't know, it was weird. I mean, the fact that you just knew it was going to work out this way, right? Like it was.
But like I said, after Super Showdown with our first podcast, Roman's revenge came against Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Which hopefully at Extreme Rules he gets his revenge some more.
Yeah.
But
what looked bad though was that Shane McMahon could beat Roman Reigns, but then Drew McIntyre, who is a foot taller and 100 pounds more probably than Shane McMahon, couldn't beat him.
Right. That one bothered me. And then the Dolph and Kofi match, that was good.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ending. People was like, oh, Kofi barely escaped. Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah.
You're in a steel cage. Y'all
Yeah.
beating the snot out of each other.
Yeah. So that was that's a pretty good steel cage match. Also, one thing I want to note that we forgot about that happened on Raw. The tug of war match was probably the most useless thing I've seen.
I forgot that. I remember watching it, sit there thinking, man, this is 7th and 8th grade day all over again.
Yeah. What was so weird, though, was that they had to pull the rope like this on account of the rope being as long as it was from corner to corner in the ring. They couldn't, back up and do it. But then again, obviously...
And they did the tail of the tape again.
Yeah.
It makes Bobby Lashley look so small.
Yeah. And then, obviously, Bobby Lashley lost, and then he's like, well, I'll just beat him up some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm surprised, of course, it's PG, and then Daniel Bryan technically got fired for it one time, but I'm surprised they didn't try to noose one of them with it.
Right. And, of course, main event, Corbin versus Seth. I get the Lacey Evans thing, a woman, you can't hit a woman, that, but we all knew Becky Lynch was going to interfere.
Yeah, it was too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing about this. I feel like they should have let Baron Corbin have it. I'm not saying have it forever.
Right.
Not even, heck, a month. The next pay-per-view, whatever, I think they should let him have it just because that would make him the biggest heel that WWE has had since Brock Lesnar. And they hated him. They was chanting all this other stuff. That's one thing. A lot of WWE crowd, they're too entitled almost. They want to dictate everything. And they seen that it happened before. And it can be a good thing in some ways. But there needs to be real heels. And Lacey Evans' biggest lady heel in quite a long time, which was great. Like I said,
right.
And the fact that nobody would think that Seth Rollins looked bad on account of if Baron Corbin had won it because he cheated so much to win it. So therefore, he wouldn't have diminished that, and then he would have just made Baron Corbin the biggest heel. WWE would have hated him. And even though the fans is chanting all this other stuff and said, oh, this here sucks or whatever, they would tune in to Raw the next night to see Seth Rollins beat him. This here is real heel heat, and the fans don't know how to deal with it because they want to cheer for all the heels. I love The Miz, but if he's doing his heel thing, if I'm at an event, I'm going to boo the hell out of him.
Right.
Just because that's what they want. That's the whole point of being a heel. The whole cool bad guy thing was kind of Stone Cold's thing, but after that, it's one thing that works in wrestling, they do it over and over. Daniel Bryan, small guy, winning the big title. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's been done a little bit before, but, Chris Benoit and everything, heck, he was a lot bigger and had more going for him at the time than Daniel Bryan did.
Right.
Daniel Bryan just had the big crowd thing. But, yeah, they're just having to copy that too much. And Daniel Bryan needs to start eating some meat. Heck, he's looking sick.
Yeah.
He's flabby belly and skinny body, and he's pale.
Yeah.
He needs to eat some meat. Heck,
But the one big thing is that I'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
Brock didn't cash in.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
Yeah. I guess we're saving him for SummerSlam, the big 4 pay-per-views, one of them.
Yeah.
Of course, you never know.
Right.
WWE, apparently they had to close off a bunch of the arena and stuff, put the curtain up, because then they just put everybody together. That way it didn't look so barren. And then Raw didn't sell out, which it usually does, supposedly, after a pay-per-view.
Right.
So,
the pay-per-view didn't even sell out.
yeah, exactly.
So, the Stomping Grounds, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah.
It was just good matches with all the same vibe that we thought was going to have.
Yeah. A lot of it was just rematches or just weird.
I don't know if they was just wanting to put out a pay-per-view or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing too, is whenever they do the Saudi Arabia shows, they do them like, and then they always do another one like 2 weeks later. Like they just.
But you know, with that much talked about, you know, I think it's time that we get on to our personal interests with our top fives.
Absolutely.
You picked the top five this week, and you picked top five tag teams.
That is right.
Not stables, but tag teams. So
Yes.
like NWO's out.
Yeah, like ones that's got like all kinds of guys.
Bullet Club and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll let you. I'll go on ahead and start off with my number 5 tag team.
Okay.
My number 5 tag team, as far as I remember, only won tag belts once.
Okay.
But it was Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. I liked them so much because it was just such an odd thing to see.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, you know, and I liked Chris Benoit besides the fact that he killed his family.
Yeah.
You know, but like I liked watching Chris Benoit. I liked watching him wrestle. It was fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So, your number 5.
My number 5, I know, like I said, stables, but I'm going DX. DX with Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
Right.
You know, that's
Not New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, not them. And then, like I said, China was just kind of the manager at the time, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, DX. I mean, Shawn Michaels was my favorite wrestler.
Right.
And it was cool. It was cool TV back then. So.
Right.
And to your number 4.
My number 4 was the Rock and Sock connection.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you had that good bit of comedy with a good bit of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like it had that vibe of like whenever Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels won it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it's two unlikely people working together to win the tag team belts.
Absolutely.
You know, and it was during a time that, you know, they really needed some tag team.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I like The Rock. You know, I didn't put him in my top 5. He's definitely my top 10.
Yeah.
But you know, Mick Foley, Mankind, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like there was no other wrestler that was more over than he was.
Oh, absolutely.
So, on to your number 4, my good sir.
My number 4, I mean, the Hardy Boys. They was my favorite as a kid.
Right.
Everybody likes the Hardys. I don't know how or why, but Matt and Jeff Hardy, especially Jeff, has been over from the beginning they started wrestling. I mean, there's just something about them, and I mean, I can't really name it. Like, they're just cool. They're
And
boys.
he's another one that'd be in my top 10 wrestlers.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. His singles run was great, you know.
Right.
Of course, I like the Matt Hardy singles run, but it wasn't to the caliber, obviously, of you know, of course, with the Hardy Boys, you know.
Jeff was always more over.
Yeah, of course. And his band ain't too bad either. He's the one who did the TNA entrance songs for him. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But anyway, on to your number 4.
My number 3.
Number 3.
My number 3 is D Generation X.
Okay, absolutely.
Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
Yeah.
I liked him, you know, during the invasion.
Yeah.
I liked him back then. You know, they was able to do more stuff. And then I liked him whenever they rebooted it. Like, I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
You know, like, it made so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just one of those things of, like, you know, hey, these guys are getting over.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all these teams that seem to be stacked against them. You know, and I like that.
Yeah.
And that's what the most like I say. Of course, I love Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You know, Shawn Michaels in my top 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on to you for your number 3.
My number 3, Edge and Christian. I mean, I hate to keep kind of running over the whole Attitude Era things, but then again, what tag teams have been real big per se since then? I mean, that's kind of the last time tag team was relevant, you know, a little bit. Of course, I like Heavy Machinery, but it's not like I said, I really like Otis, but Tucker, he's still got he's got a little bit of character development to go, but he's a good play. But nevertheless, on to Edge and Christian, not only were they funny, they was awesome. I mean, the Brood's awesome. Of course, that's kind of blurred on that stable. Gangrel kind of worked a little bit as manager, though. But Yeah, Edge and Christian, I mean, they're great. They're funny. They're just, seems like cool guys in real life, and great wrestlers,
So, yep,
Yeah, dude.
I agree with you.
On to your number 2.
My number 2 is Edge and Christian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There was no better tag team in the Attitude Era, I think.
Yeah.
Them and the Hardy Boys and Dudley Boys, I mean, you knew whenever they was all wrestling, you knew you was going to get good quality wrestling.
Yeah.
The
Dudleys had the energy. Matt and Jeff had the crazy high flying, and then Edge and Christian just had everything else.
Right.
But they was all great all together.
And of course, I love Edge. I like Christian. I feel like Christian wasn't treated as fairly as what Edge was.
Of course. I was so excited.
And I don't see why he wasn't. Like, he was as good a wrestler.
Oh, yeah. I loved it whenever he won the World Heavyweight title. Of course, it got taken away, 7 days later or something like that. But him and TNA was some of his best singles work, though, for sure. Because they let him shine and be the NWA champion.
Yeah. So, on to your number 2.
My number 2, you might be a little bit surprised, but rated RKO.
Oh, yeah?
The 2 biggest heels in WWE at the time, in my opinion. They was great together, even though they weren't quote-unquote stereotypical tag team, but they was both real bad. The Legend Killer and then, just Edge being the bad guy he was. It was great stuff, and I love their heel work.
Right.
Both.
There was no better heels at the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, on to your number 2.
My number 1.
Well, number 1, my bad.
My number 1. My number 1 is a Harlem Heat.
Okay. Why? I mean, I'm not dissing.
I just don't think there was a better tag team during that period as far as WCW goes. And I liked them. I mean, they had that. I mean, they had the obvious brother connection, and they had Booker T's brothers a whole lot bigger than him.
Yeah.
So Booker T could do more higher moves.
Yeah.
And I mean it was good.
Oh yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. That one was just out of left field. Dude.
Right.
So,
I told you. I'd probably surprise you.
Yeah.
But I did. I love the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
I wish they had action figures whenever WWE does their Legend action figures. I wish they do one of the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
They don't. The only action figure I've ever seen is those. That's the pre-made ones, and you can't bend them.
Yeah, the big rubber ones.
Yeah, big rubber ones. So, like I said, that's my number 1 tag team.
Awesome.
I just liked watching them. So, on to your number 1.
Tracy Smothers and JD Thunder.
Oh, yeah, baby.
No,
that's what I'm talking about, baby. JD Thunder, Woo! Fried chicken and diet root beer. Woo! Give me a cigarette when I'm done.
That was amazing. Oh, man. But no, I didn't put them. I didn't put them for my number 1.
Oh, man, I got my hopes up.
But anyways, since you mentioned, like I said, this isn't my number 1 as well. But since you mentioned the Harlem Heat, that reminded me of the Gangstas, which if I'd remembered, I would have totally put them probably at number 5 on here. But they were great, especially the whole O.J. Simpson interview they did. It's
great.
Shout out to my buddy O.J. There's 2 lists we got to worry about and stuff. They made everybody mad. But nevertheless, number 1, Briscoe Brothers.
Yes.
They are so cool. They're hard hitting. Every match I've ever seen of theirs is great. I wish I could watch more Ring of Honor to watch them more. But, I mean, you got the chicken Mark Briscoe, and then you got Jay Briscoe's just all around one of the best brawlers and technical wrestlers on the indie circuit, especially Ring of Honor. I mean, they've been there since the beginning. They put on great stuff. They got called up WWE one time, but it's infamous that they said they wasn't cosmetically pleasing enough. So then they cut a promo with them dipping out in the woods, crapping all over WWE, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Their interviews is my favorite promos ever to watch.
Right.
I mean, they're usually shoveling like chicken crap in their barn, or they're talking about the Dodge. I mean, it's cool stuff, and you know, they're usually out there drinking beer, working on tractors or something, smoking cigarettes. I mean, they're awesome, good old Southern boys, and they can put on my favorite just style of tag team matches. I mean, they're not car crashes; they can work it good. So, Briscoe Brothers for number one for sure. Mark and Jade.
I like them, you know. It's just one of those things, just like you said. If I could see more Ring of Honor, I'd like it better.
Yeah, I've had to like search out specifically for their matches, but
right.
The thing is, aside from seeing promos and then seeing their matches, I'm not really seeing like storylines and the flow of it. That, like, because I really thought about putting them lower on the list because of that, but just judging from promos and in-ring ability, I mean, I don't think it gets much any better for modern tag teams. It's they're great, and I love their gimmick too and stuff. They're just badasses.
So, you know, we're starting to get towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
You know, and this one's kind of a short one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. You know, personal things has happened today, so
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to talk about. You know, to be fully engaged with everything. But I mean, I'm still trying to bring like the best quality content I can. You know. Like, you know, the thing about podcasts I don't think a lot of people realize is, like, you know, Sunday through Tuesday, like it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
To, you know, come out with notes and come out with things, you know, to write about,
Mm-hmm.
you know, than what it would be just watching weekly wrestling.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, Raw and SmackDown was just kind of dull. Like,
right.
Even the pay-per-view was a little dull aside
right.
from a few high spots, but, you know, it was just a little. That's how I describe WWE's content right now. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just kind of,
Right.
know?
Right. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I said I had a little bit of a rant. I'll go ahead and go off with mine first.
Absolutely.
The thing that bothered me. Quit doing the whole Brock might show up, Brock might not show up, Brock might cash in, he might not cash in. Okay, we get it. He might not, he might be there, he might not. But don't make him hold it forever, because then that just makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know, like it just upsets me. Like, Brock is your best heel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he actually gets booed. He never gets cheered for.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's your best heel. Go ahead. Take the belt off either Kofi or Seth, and then have the whole build-up, like you said, with Seth and Baron Corbin. Yeah. Have it happen to where, you know, like Seth will get the belt back, or AJ gets the belt, or some guy that's going to go over good as a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, like that bothers me. You know, and, you know, the thing I'm worried about is that Baron Corbin's going to win the belt, then Brock's going to come out and cash in, and then that's going to make no sense because you got two heels going off each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, what do you get? 5 seconds of Baron Corbin going over, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't agree with that. And it's just ridiculous. The way that this has been booked. Like, the Money in the Bank briefcase has always been one of those things that's such a coveted prize to have.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, they're just turning it into a joke.
Yeah.
So, like, that was my rant. That's literally all I had.
Yeah.
As far as everything went.
WWE is trying to get people to watch it and get people's money by just doing the, like you said, is or is he not going to show up type of thing. And it's like, it's just kind of I see it almost as like a cash grab. Like, it's just, you know, it's like them old, what was it? I think it was how, who was it? It was like a couple of, I think it was like maybe ICP and Eminem or something like that,
right.
Like way back in the day. And ICP, they hadn't contacted them yet, but apparently like Eminem or something, I may be saying this wrong, but it still stands like, they wrote out like this sheet of like this event, then they said like ICP, and then in parentheses, maybe. It's kind of like what they're doing. You know, you got the idea of Brock Lesnar looming over, but You don't know if he's going to be here or not be here, and then it's kind of like you're just waiting for these stereotypical matches that you know is how it's going to end, and then you're just sitting through them just for that odd chance that he's going to come out at some point.
Right.
So, push EC3. He'd be your best heel in the company.
Right.
Give him a chance. Heck.
Right.
Let him on a microphone for about 5 minutes. He'd burn the place down.
Right.
No Seth Rollins pun meant there, but
Right.
he could feud with Seth Rollins. That'd be great, you know.
So, that was my rant. Do you have a little rant yourself?
Not really this time around. I mean, other than just EC3, I wish so bad they do something with him. It's not because I don't think he's like, God's gift to WWE. I just want to see him on TV more. I want to see him put on a match. Let him feud over the Intercontinental title. Heck, if they care so less about it that they're not even putting it on the pay-per-view, might as well just let someone fight Finn Balor over, which I guess they're going to do the Shinsuke thing, but I just want to see EC3 do something. I want to see him on the microphone. I want to see him on my TV.
Right.
I want to see the Kabuki Warriors too.
Right. So, with us coming to the wind down of the show, we're going to throw in a little bit of promo.
Right.
Okay? We discussed this yesterday. For our 10th podcast, we are going to give you fans, we're going to record, of course we record audio naturally, but we're going to record video too for the 10th podcast.
Yes.
I repeat, it is the 10th podcast. But anyway, so, like I said, I know everyone's like, oh, it's just a 10th podcast, it's just a 10th podcast. What difference does it make? It's a big milestone, as far as, stuff goes.
That's 2.5 months of consecutive programming.
Right. And, we're doing our best to bring you all quality shows. And, I just feel like, maybe you all would like it to see, us, what goes on behind the scenes of a podcast, what happens while, we're recording the thing, just the behind the scenes thing. Of course, on Instagram, we post our pictures and all that.
Backwoods Wrestling Podcast.
That's right.
On Instagram and Backwoods Wrestling Podcast at Proton Mail. Send us your top 5.
That's
What's
right.
your top 5 tag teams?
Because
let us know. We'll read it on the show.
That's right. Because we do check the email. We do check our Instagram.
Yeah.
And we check for the comments, too.
Yeah.
And, by the way, a huge thank you we want to send out. Our subscribers has doubled from last week.
I believe we're sitting pretty at 10.
But, hey, we still are gaining.
What if we double again? Then that'd be
That's
20
right.
for this one. Hey.
And we're averaging like 20 views. And, that's pretty good considering we're starting out.
Yeah, that's a lot more than the previous YouTube channel we used to work with.
That's right. Hashtag goats. That is hashtag swag.
Yeah.
Hashtag brother. Hashtag suplex city want to sell.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is.
Yeah. And be sure and sub to us. You never know, if you got cool stuff, we'll sub back to you. And if you got any sponsors you want to shout out and you're willing to shout us out, and you've got similar subscribers and stuff and views that we do, maybe we do with that like a trade-off.
That's right.
We shout you out.
You shout us out.
Yeah.
Because, there's the fun side to it, and then as sad as it sounds in the world we live in now, there's a business side to this. Yeah. The thing is with us, though, we're doing this for fun.
Oh, yeah.
We have our lives, we have our own business that we take care of. Mm-hmm. But this is literally just us getting together, having fun, talking wrestling, expressing our opinions with you guys. Because like I said in the first podcast, this is just strictly an opinionated show. This ain't something like, oh, well, hey, I just got off the phone with Vince McMahon. This is what he told me. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Like that's the beauty of this podcast, is it's somewhere where we can express our opinions freely.
Absolutely.
And, for you first-time listeners, today is a Wednesday. We upload and record every Wednesday unless, like I said, an emergency comes up, and you will be updated. So, now that we're to the end of the show, I think we've plugged all our social media stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked wrestling. We've talked, like little facts that we figured out.
Yeah.
The only thing to do now is to close out the show.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Caleb.
My name is Dylan.
This is the Backwoods Wrestling Podcast. This is episode number 3. We hope you enjoyed. You all have a good time. And always remember, listen next week.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.